All right, now it's recording. We have Jason Solomon here on the line today. And, Jason and I, we talk damn near every single day. So my face isn't anything new to Jason, but his story is getting new every single day. And, first and foremost, congratulations, Jason, for 2 months with your newborn baby. How's fatherhood going? How's parenthood? And how are you, adapting to that whole lifestyle currently?
With that, it's only been 2 weeks. If you know Thad, man, Thad to dad. It's been good, man. It's been an exciting first 2 weeks, and it's something that if you're prepared mentally for situations, you adapt very quickly. I see. So it's been good, man. It's been a fun challenge. It's a propel instead of something that pushes you back. So it's good, bro.
No, I mean, um, because we talked last time and we talked a little bit about your story. We talked a little bit about your upbringing and where you're heading towards. And to just sum it all up, you're an entrepreneur. You left university after 2 weeks of finding the books in the mail. You were a former high school all-star basketball player that suddenly.
Wasn't an all star in high school, but when I got to prep school, it was game time.
Okay, okay. So you were basically basketball was your trajectory, was your future, and that had to be that had to stop, and you had to pivot to something where you can find value and become more valuable as well. So honestly, you started your online marketing business. You started working with these phenomenal people, brought me along as well, and to this day I want to show so much more gratitude to you and the people that we're working with. But with that being said, the last time we had a conversation was the beginning of COVID, beginning of this whole entire situation, and now as we're entering, as we're entering into the new year, the fall season, and all that coming up, what changes have you seen since our last conversation, and how do you think we can all just prepare to really rebound from all this craziness?
Man, that it's funny. The last time we talked talked on here was what before COVID, and I just saw you at my house 2 days ago. So wasn't that long ago since we last talked. But anyways, man, I just want to thank you for having me on here. I think anytime anybody asks me to speak or I get to talk to people, it's always a privilege. Looking back where you start within things and how quiet and to myself I really was. And so, whatever level it's on, even if it's just a simple conversation like this, I'm always grateful for the opportunity, the exposure, and to add value to other people's lives first and foremost, man. So gratitude to the Most High. But then again, man, what was your question?
No, my
I,
question
I get
was.
on with the gratitude, man. I gotta show gratitude. Then we'll
Yes,
get into the
yes.
questions.
Yes, yes, yes. The question was just simply, what changes have you seen during the course of, from our last conversation until now, and what do you think people can do to really rebound this as we go into the new year?
Changes have I seen? If you're asking for me personally, I mean, I've had a lot of changes. A lot of different new things popping up, and obviously the little ones here. Grateful for that experience, and business is always going to be at the top and always excelling. And so I think the changes, man, is just a level of awareness, and level of how you view the world. I always say that awareness is not memory. You can forget memory, like you can forget somebody's phone number, you forget you know when somebody's birthday is, but you don't forget awareness. It's like when you wake up in the morning, you don't say, man, I forgot how to walk. And so awareness, I think a lot of people's awareness has grown to where they won't, hopefully they won't forget this time period and how things have changed with the world, and how we finally realize it now makes sense that the traditional way doesn't make sense. And that's one thing that I realized, these past couple months, is that every single person is looking for a new opportunity. They're looking for a new wave, a new venture, I could say, and for lack of terms, a new venture to partake in, to live a certain type of lifestyle. Because I think that as we get into this world that we're in, a lot of people have realized being in a house, being cooped up, whatever it may be, how important And I'm gonna talk about this, how important the materialistic aspect of life is when it comes to freedom. That's one thing that I realized as well. Because when you don't have freedom, man, nothing really excites you. When you're in the house all day, nothing really excites you. But what excites you is the opportunity to get out the house. What excites you is when you're able to travel, when you're able to go out to the restaurant, go eat, go do what you need to do. That's what really excites people. And a lot of people talk about, oh, I don't care about material things, or oh, I'm doing it just for the spirit mindset. That's cool. That's a part of it. But I think this quarantine has really made people aware of that everything you have on this earth is for you to get and for you to obtain and for you to see and for you to do. And so I think that that's a big awareness shift right there, bro. um
Oh,
and just
Jason,
being able to live a certain lifestyle, man.
Jason, I'm going to pause you right there and hold on to that thought. There were a couple of things there that I want to touch on as well. But recently, you just said freedom was the area we all need to strive for. Now, with that being said, if someone is like a minimalistic, like how we when we're surrounded by people with the more luxurious items, when we're surrounded with people who do indulge in like the high celebrity type of lifestyle. What do you say to the people who just want to stay minimalistic, who just want to keep it simple, but internally they're happy in their own end? Like, do you think that they should even, switch up their values for that? So,
Teach his own. um teach his own. I just think that people shouldn't settle.
mm,
That's just my thing. I think that everything that we have, like for example, people say, why would you want the car? Why would you want the house? And I realized I was listening to Bob Proctor actually, and he was saying, God is everywhere, God is everything, energy is omnipresent. And if you're condemning that material thing, then you're condemning energy and you're condemning yourself. And so, if you're talking down about something, then you're talking down about yourself, because you burn paper, you turn into ash. And so, where I'm getting at with that is, go for what you want, get what you want, and don't feel bad for doing it. And I think that we should always strive for better. If you're somebody who's listening to this and you grew up under the mentality of, you know, whatever it may be, live below your means, etc., whatever it is, teach his own, man. I respect whatever people's opinions are. But I think there's just so much more to life, man. Like, um and it's not even about having that new materialistic thing. It's about the growth to get it. To me, that's the most exciting thing, because Thad, you
or
may know this, but one of my you can call it dream cars, but car I'm gonna get, Mercedes Benz Maybach. All right. Now this thing is like, if you know anything about a Maybach, it's the highest level machine that's out there in terms of luxury. And the car is like 300,000. It costs a house, and it's brand new 2021, whatever it is. And a lot of people say, well, why would you want that? You know how many families you could feed, how much food you could put on tables. I'm like, yeah, for sure. But I look at it as, what does it really take to get that? That's the question. What type of growth do you have to go through to be able to afford that? To be able to have the means to afford that and some. That's my thinking when it comes to material things. Like, okay, let's say you want the big house. All right, house may cost 2 million. Okay, and you're earning 50,000. Do you understand the gap in growth that you have to go through to be able to afford that? Because money and the measurement of income you have is a measurement of your mindset. And so when I look at you getting things, it's a certain level of mental growth that comes along
okay.
with it.
Now, when you just said the amount of money you have or the amount of money you're earning is kind of similar to the mindset that you're set with. If people are stuck, or if people are drawn into a 9 to 5, not necessarily a career but just a job, but they've been doing it for like 5, 10, 15, even 20, 30 years, um where do you have any suggestions for them? Like, is this advice still pertaining to them, or are they just doing their own thing and finding their own path sooner or later?
I wouldn't even call it advice, man. I'm not what you call a life coach. I don't know about advice. I can just throw an opinion out there. It pertains to whoever it may concern, man. Whoever it hits emotionally. You know, if this conversation, if you hearing this trigger something emotionally, that means it pertains to you. And so, you know, what on whatever side of the spectrum it may be. And so I think that first off, man, you got to ask yourself this. I ask people all the time because I talk to people day in and day out about their dreams, their goals, what they want. And I get the same conversations with my mentors. You know, what do you really want? And I think about this today, man, is if what you're doing, you know, this can be a maybe even a side conversation because I think people need to do what they enjoy doing and do something that's going to eventually open up doors, you know, do something that's progressive that they can have growth in. I don't care if you work a job, but the only thing is if you're only in a job and that gets you stuck, that's a challenge. That's a problem. You know, that's a problem if you're limited, if you're stuck. So you got a job, cool. If you're progressing, if you're growing, amazing. But if you're stuck, we understand
Sure,
that
sure.
that's the challenge. And
No,
so
Jason, I mean, I love that. And basically, what the message that I just got there was if you're doing something on a daily basis, but stuck at the end of it, then you may need to find a shift in your daily, your daily habits or your job slash career to make you more have more of a fulfilled life. But with that being said, to those of you who are listening here, we're not trying to flex. We're not trying to flex at all, and we're also not trying to, impose any
flex with
sort
me,
of.
man. Flex with me.
I have this heavy jacket on right now indoors. Yes, my muscles. We'll say that for the gym, but no, but with what was I about to say there? No,
You know, we're not trying to flex. We're not trying to boast or brag. You know,
yeah, yeah. We're not trying to boast or brag, and we're not trying to impose any of our own opinions and our own lifestyle and what we want into other people as well. Because I asked Jason this, and I want to bring this up. Um, I said, Jason, we talk about the downfalls of just having a 9 to 5, but don't we need more doctors? Don't we need more lawyers? Don't we need more of a high educated, intellectual person? And the answer you gave me, I'm going to say this is that is you gave me no for doctor, right? But I'm pretty sure that answer may have changed right now because for me personally, I would trust a doctor to deliver my my future wife's baby rather than any random person or even myself. And I would rather go to a person that would have credentials enough to even diagnose me with something that's worse than just the traditional health and wellness that we're dealing with on a daily basis. So I see that, and the reason why I bring that up is because when I talk to people, and just like you, I talk to them about their goals, their dreams, their vision, their way forward. I talk to them like, are you working in a job or are you working in a career right now? Are you doing this to just are you doing just are you doing this just to get by, or do you actually love what you're doing on a daily basis and the money is just a byproduct of that? That's the biggest distinctive I want to make for everyone here who is listening. There's a difference between all that. So if you're doing something on a daily basis that is making you tremendously happy but may not be paying you as much, who are we to say anything about that? But I want to transition over to something that I believe everybody.
back to the doctor note. I'll cut you off there, man. Um, you know, I think everything has its place. You know, everything has its place. But
Sure.
I think we don't need more labels, man. We need more awareness.
Mm,
That's my thinking. Like, I don't
okay.
care what your label is, you know, doctor, you know, Mr., Mrs., whatever the label, you know, the title,
Sure. Sure.
coach, master, whatever it may be. I don't give it, who cares? You know, we need more awareness because the label, like, you can get the label but fall off of ingredients. See
Sure.
what I'm saying? And so we need more awareness more than anything. Um,
But at the end of the day, the words that we speak and understand is the only meaning behind it is the meaning we give to it, right? So you don't want to say you want to give labels, but what about the term mentorship, mentors, mentees? Those are.
yeah, and that all comes from the people. Like for example, what I learned is this, man. You can label yourself as something, you know, to put it out there in the universe, But the true label comes from the people. The true label you carry on in the world, that comes from the people. You know, because I can say that I'm a great mentor all day, but if the people don't agree with it, then is it really the truth? You know, and
Sure,
so
sure.
I think that that's why I'm saying we need more awareness in this world than anything, because you look up doctors, for example, Dr. Sebi, look him up, African herbalist. He cured every disease known to man, or
Mm.
pretty much, you know, and they threw him in jail. And so, what's the level of awareness there, right? So that's just saying it, and I'm not trying to even get on that topic because they don't pay me enough to even talk about that. So,
Mhm.
but then again, we need more awareness. You know, I think that that's everything, man. And even if I try to argue it, even if anybody tries to argue it, there's no getting past awareness. Because if you look back in the day, man, they would have thought it was crazy a man being on the moon. We're trying to go to Mars.
Mhm.
Same stuff was here, same material was here. The only thing that changed was the level of awareness. You know, we got this thing. Talk 10 years ago about having a slim device that's almost the size of your credit card fitting in your pocket, and you got more technology than the first rocket ship that landed on the moon. Same material was here. The earth carries the same seeds. The only difference is the awareness.
Okay, okay.
So I think we need more awareness in this world, man. And for
Now,
I'm speaking for me too.
now, Jason, I'm gonna cut you off there again, as you know, there's something that we need to get to in this conversation.
Dad, you like a Larry King.
I actually haven't listened. I don't. I actually don't listen to many of his.
Is that true?
No, because I mean we can
It's
keep
just a
going
joke.
on and on
That's
about
just a
this.
joke. That's just a joke.
There's one topic that I want to get to is it relates to what you were just saying about awareness. It's the next step, decision, right? As we become more aware of the possibilities and the potentials in the world, um, would you agree that decision is the first step in attaining it?
Well, before you decide, what are you going to decide on?
Right.
I
After
think having,
aware,
go,
like after you become
yeah,
more aware, and then you're like, oh, I really want this, let's say, car, or I want to get my
okay, yeah, yeah,
house.
yeah. So first you figure out what you want. That's
Mm,
number one. Then you just decide you're going to get it. Yeah, 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 for sure.
okay.
Because if you don't decide you're going to get it, you won't have it. You know, you may stumble across it because if that's something that leads towards your goal. But I heard Bob say this. He said, "Whatever's on your mind is a goal.
Sure.
Whatever's on your mind." And so, whatever you're thinking about is what you're going to bring, and whatever comes through that is. So yeah, you first got to have that image, that goal, whatever target it is, and then you got to have the decision that you're going to get it regardless of, and I think that that's step one. Step two.
Now, Jason, I'm
Um,
gonna cut you off there. So when people say, "I want this," "I want that," we all want them. This is why I say everybody.
Now you turned into Dr. Phil. You went from
Yeah.
Larry King to Dr. Phil. Man,
Hey,
who else
hey,
you gonna be today, man?
I'm just
You gonna
taking
be
all my
Stephen A.
inspiration.
Smith
Oh,
or
I don't know if I can
Shannon
be.
Sharp? Skip, 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 skip,
Oh man, I don't think I'll be. I'm gonna be too rambunctious.
skip, 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 skip.
No. What I was trying to say there was a lot of people want, a lot of people hope, everybody hopes, everybody wants wishes, but when you make a decision on something, what what's the difference that person needs to make from making a decision to just blindly saying I want this? How do you make that distinction?
um, I mean, it's so simple, it may confuse people. But there's certain things I've decided on that I wanted, and I think a decision is more emotional. The decision is you got strong emotions attached to it. Like the emotions are so strong to where you don't even a decision is to the point where you don't even doubt it's going to happen
Mm,
because you're so emotionally involved with it already being done.
okay.
Like that, like for example, Dad always asks me about my stuff, about my stuff, the little penthouse. So I got a penthouse on my screensaver. It's been there since I was like 16 years old. Same thing, same penthouse. And Dad always asked me about it, talking about it. Now that specific penthouse in New York City costs about $8 to $10 million for that little, probably the size, each room is the size of the room I'm in right now in my apartment in Carmel, so same size as this apartment, but you know, millions of dollars more. And so the thing of it is, when I saw that, it wasn't a question of could I afford it. It was like, oh, I want it. I'm going to get it. And there was no question that I wouldn't have it. Does that make sense? Still, there's no question that I won't have it. And
Sure.
so a decision versus a want, oh, I want that mansion, but damn, man, that's $3 million. Or, man, I want that mansion. How would it feel to live there? How many
What you're
rooms does it
so
have?
what you're saying is you shouldn't let the price tag or anybody else's limitations limit you from getting it or attaining it
Of
yourself.
course,
Okay. Okay.
limitations are ignorance.
And I think that's a big lesson right there for those listening as well. The price tag that's on a specific item that was put there by another person, and the valuation is, honestly, most of it is just, um what's the word for man-made? Arbitrary,
Yeah, 100%.
you
You want to know the
know?
cool thing about that? I've been watching this penthouse for, like I said, since I was 17. So what, 6, 7 years, 16, 17? Each year, you want to know something? It's dropped in price each year. First, it started off at 12 million. Then it was 11.5, then 10, then 9. And I think it's down to about 9 or 8. Each year is dropped in price. That's a prime example of that. Price tag is man made. But your goal will always find a way to meet you. You go because right now, I don't know if I had the cash right now. I got it. It's here. Physically on me, it's here. But at the end of the day, your goal will always find a way to meet you as long as you're moving towards it. And
Okay.
I think that that's a cool lesson. And so, yeah, the price tag is man made. But then again, man, price tag is just what you or what that person values or what they think the marketplace may value it as.
Okay.
Um,
So this leads to the next step then. You become emotionally attached to you write it on a gold card. You're like, you visualize it, and you go far enough to having a vision board, writing all that good stuff that we're taught and learn. A lot of people do that, right? And a lot of people that dive into personal development, that step, but then at the end of the day, they don't attain nearly half of what's on the board. Now, that this is what Jim Rohn said. What I've learned was that discipline is also necessary to attaining it. So we're known now that we know that hard work doesn't necessarily equal a prosperous life. But where does discipline come into play when actually attaining and going for the gift, going for the goal?
it's called absolute resolve. I don't know if you know what that means. Maybe not. It's in
This
the
is
audio I sent you, so I know you haven't listened to the audio many times over and over and over again.
I probably haven't. You sent me like 20 a day or so.
No, I didn't. No, I don't. I sent you one just to listen to. Don't even tell that lie.
Okay, so for me,
All right, look, absolute. Just let me talk. Let me talk. I got this one. It's called absolute resolve. And absolute resolve, that means you do it no matter. You do it until. And that really is discipline. You're going to get there no matter what. You're going to do it until you get it. And, I heard John Maxwell, I read from John Maxwell. He had a book called How Successful People Think. Funny, I gave that book away to a guy in the Wendy's drive-through. His name was Xavier. I remember it. I gave him my book for exchange for some fries. Hustler. But I knew he'll value the book more than I value some French fries. But anyways, he said thinking is a discipline. And like for example, you're gonna be thinking to the day you die. You might as well think what you want, and you do it until you get it. I mean, there's no way around it. Thinking is absolute resolve. Is absolutely going to happen. And so that just post something in the chat. Don't forget this is going to become public. Careful with names and numbers. You're right. You're right. What numbers did I say?
You didn't
It
mention
never
any
stops.
numbers, but you're getting to the story where you mentioned names and all that stuff. So I just
Oh, Xavier. As long as I don't say the last name, man. You know how when you call into customer care and they only tell you the first name, hey, this is
right.
This is Susan. Ah, they don't care about as long as they ain't the last name.
I just want to make that distinction that this is not just another call to,
Yeah.
not
See
this call, but
that he'll be a good lawyer. That'd be a lawyer on the case. Look, man, we got X, Y, and Z. Don't stray away from X, Y, and Z. Nah, you're good. But absolute resolve, man. I mean, it's doing it until it's doing it no matter what, and it's make sure you cross the line and forget the time it takes. I think that's a big one too.
okay. So what
Um,
I just got from that, to not to cut you off even more, was the word do. You gotta do it, right? You gotta do the activities that's necessary to attain those goals. Now, the people that I talk to that are heavily spiritual and into personal development, like I love that, and I'm big into personal development and all that stuff as well. But the biggest correlation I see from people actually attaining their wants, or the people that is just high on the motivation, is the activities that is necessary, right? We can't stray away from the activities. We can't stray away from doing the things and doing what needs to be done, not just what you want to do. Is that correct?
uh, yeah, I think that's right. It's just like anything, man. I mean, doing what needs to be done. Like success is not pretty, man. Like people see people that win, like, and it's for example, I used to say this, and when I look at people, because I play basketball, and I was blessed to be able to train with people who were pros and be around that and to get a glimpse of that. And when I see people that are in the NBA, I used to, we used to laugh at the bench players, right? If you were in the NBA and you were a bench player, you used to make fun of that guy. Who's that dude sitting 15 seats from LeBron? But when you know what that person did to get 15 seats from LeBron, I have mad respect for any bench player in the league. Now, where I'm getting at is this, because I know what they did to get there, and it wasn't pretty. And so I think that for any success you're gonna have, man, like it's it's the things that people don't see, like the 1 a.m. phone calls. I was on a call with somebody from Australia. Hell, one person jumped on at 2 a.m. in the morning. And just little things like that, and the constant grind, the constant thinking of the goal, the constant motion of it. I mean, that's the thing that is rewarded. It's what I was listening to in the audio today. It's the 10%, or what was it phrased? How was it phrased? Um, the last 10%, which accumulated for 90% of the results. It's the last 10% effort that equates to 90% of the results. It's the shit that nobody sees that equates to everything you have. That
Mm.
last 10% that equates to 90% of results. But he said on the flip side, you may be doing 90% of the work and it equates to 10% of the results. And the question is, when you're doing 90% of the work and you're only getting 10% results, do you quit? Oh, this isn't working. Or do you keep going until the phrase flips? Because it's like with what I do with network marketing or any business, real estate, don't matter. You can be reaching out to a bunch of prospects before you ever have one. And a lot of people reach out to 100, they get one person and they quit. But they don't understand the flip side of the spectrum is that you can have 100 prospects but only reach out to one person because you've built up that momentum, you've built up that speed. And it's absolute resolve, man. Like it's 100% absolute resolve. Like me, I don't care how challenging it gets, how tough it gets. Like I just had a kid, all right, and I say this with respect to people that have children, because I understand the position I'm in. I understand the position I've built up, being able to have residual income, being able to not have to work a 9 to 5. But I say that with pride too. Like, hey, I busted my ass for 4 years, and it's still busting it,
Can you
still.
share?
But then again,
Jason, hold on
I'll
here.
share this. Go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was about to ask. Can you share? Okay, you're 23. To clarify that, you're 23, has have a baby, going through this whole process now, and eventually grow even larger family. Can you share what? what it took for you to even get to this spot where you're not scared. You know, you're not financially where you want to be, but at least you're not scared at the position you're at. So can you share like how you got here? What did you even do?
I'm not scared because I realize fear no longer works. So that's number one. I'm not scared because I realize shit. Being scared don't solve nothing. So you might as well just think about what you want. But what it took, golly. And I say this with respect because I'm not even halfway near where I need to be. But that's why I respect the people that are in the league, that are at least in the league, that are on the court. Because what it takes to get on the court, man, is a different breed. But it takes like anything. I mean, like people disassociate business from life. That's the craziest thing that we don't understand. We can't disassociate business from life. Like if you were a kid, if you were a baby, you know how long it took before you could talk? Like it took many, many nights of screaming and crying and trying to get your words out, slurring and then eventually you learn how to talk. You know how long it took babies to walk? Like for example, it's like anything, man. It's a grind. It's hard work. It's a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of lonely nights, a lot of pissed off nights, a lot of getting a bunch of nose nights, a lot of teeth and nail, blood, sweat, and tears, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's all that and some. Um, but that's why you gotta be careful what you ask for. And
No,
I mean, it comes with the territory, man.
no, Jason, because I'm going through the process where you went to a couple years ago, 3, 4 years ago, right? Where I'm taking the steps, then I'm realizing the sacrifices and um the hustle, like Gary Vee says, the hustle it takes to even get to the point where you want to be. And the biggest thing I realized, once you step away from the current paradigm and into something, much bigger, and you realize what all needs to happen, what happened to me was I became more aware of my faults. I became more aware, like, this is why I'm at the current situation. I'm this, and that. I'm fat, lazy, loser, blah, 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 all the shit I can say about myself. And the reason why I brought that up was, once that's going to happen to you, right? Once you become more aware. The reason why I brought that up was that don't let that deter you from thinking you are a loser or you can't change that, right? Because that's what happened to me, and everything, my whole world fell down like 2 months ago, right? I kept beating myself up. I kept doing this. I kept doing. When I realized I labeled myself, as we're talking about labeling, I labeled myself as a loser rather than a person that can overcome the challenges. So now, Jason, you asked me what I have on my goal card. I don't have a goal card, or my goal card is outdated because it's not what I currently want. But what I do say to myself on a daily basis was that I am currently fat, lazy, and I'll say this too, broke. But underneath that, I can say, but you can change that, or but I can change that, right? So for me, what it did was I'm not going to be delusional to be like I'm fit, I'm healthy, I'm rich, but I'm aware of where I am. But now I can have full responsibility to change that, right? So I don't know if that's what you had to go through a couple years ago, but for someone who's going through that process and going for more, going for their potential and feeling like they're the loser, no, you just had losing habits that got you where you are. I wouldn't even call it losing habits. You're still alive. You're winning, right? Your current habits got you where you are. Now become more aware of that and switch them up one at a time to transform you to another person or to the person you want to be. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
I
my
think that to add on to that, that goes back to gratitude.
mm,
It goes back 100% to gratitude. I remember one time I called Linda Proctor, Bob's wife, who's our mentor, one of our mentors in this business.
just had
And
to
I was
name drop
pissed
right
off one
there.
day. I was pissed off. And I called her and I was like, Linda, shit's not working. What do I do? Like I don't know what to do. And she said, let me ask you this. She said, "Do you earn when you're asleep?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Now, is it where you want to be?" I said, "No." But she said, "Do you earn income when you're asleep?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Okay. No matter how much or how little it is, do you understand how far ahead you are of 96% of the world right now?" And I was like, yeah. But when you think about that, and I'm not putting myself on the pedestal because there's plenty of people that are further than me, plenty of them. But I looked at it as I wasn't grateful for where I was at. Because I'll tell you this, that even where I'm at today, I still feel like I'm not doing enough. And I'm always on, constantly
Yeah.
doing something. I still feel like I'm not doing something right. I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing this. I'm literally like that's what's going through my head as we speak right now. I got alarms going off, and I'm like, shit, I could be doing this or doing that. And I got 11 unread messages on one app, X, Y, and Z, whatever it may be. I still feel like I'm not doing enough. You're always going to feel like that. I'm telling you, you're always going to feel like that. And the only thing that can calm that feeling down is gratitude. It never will stop that feeling. I've realized that. That's why you see people like Elon Musk, billionaire, still going. That's why you see Bob Proctor, 85, still speaking on stage. I realized that that feeling of I'm never doing enough is never going to go away, ever. But the only way you can calm that feeling down is if you have gratitude for where you're currently at.
Okay. Okay.
Or calm that I want to say I don't want to say the wrong. Calm the feeling down. I don't want to say that, but the only way you can
Balance it out.
be at no be at peace with that feeling. The only way you can be at peace with yourself is if you have
Sure.
gratitude.
And for those of you who are listening and are, blessed to be even able to listen to a podcast or a conversation like this, just realize this is what Tony Robbins said. The 1% in North America, you know, or the how do you put it? He said that if you're living in poverty here in America, you are part of the
In
1%.
the top 1% in the world.
Yeah. So
That's true.
So with that being said, keep that in mind, and don't let that deter you from what Jason said in the beginning. Don't let that deter you from going bigger, getting bigger, and all that stuff. But just realize that you are in a position where where some people dream to be by their death. You know, some people I'm like we gotta end this conversation. I know you gotta go, and I know I gotta go, but my
Where you gotta go, man? Let's tell the listeners. No, I'm just playing.
well, I gotta get my call list booked up and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta, you know.
You know, but to end this or to start to end this conversation, um, my family, they were immigrants, and their biggest dream was just getting everyone over here for the American life, right? And to really establish themselves and put a name for themselves to get the generation started here in the U.S. That was their biggest goal. And up until now, I have nothing but gratitude and so much pride for what my family had accomplished for even getting to this spot, right? And they don't have the luxurious items here in the Western world, but I see the sacrifices and I see what they had to overcome, where now I don't have to experience that and I can build upon what they've already set here, you know?
That's what it's about. Every generation should proceed, or if proceed is the right word,
Exceed.
should excel above the next. Excel. A lot of words, a lot of different meanings. Every
Right.
generation should keep going up,
For
man.
sure, for sure, for sure.
And that's what we're here for, man. I'm all about generational wealth, um, the long term game, which it takes a immense amount of wisdom to understand that. I'm telling you, it took me a long time to understand the long term game, man. The stuff you won't be here to see.
Mhm.
That's what we're ultimately building for. So
Right.
at that,
Well, Jason, to like end this off right now, do you have any closing thoughts? Because I know I'm gonna bring you back on here for another conversation because we can talk about more topics that we just laid. lay to rest here, and we can always pick it back up at a later date. But do you have any closing thoughts? Do you have anything else you want to say for the listeners out there, or anything you want to share that can maybe bring value to those listening?
If you just remember this, you'll win. If you're going through hell, keep going. Why would you stop in hell?
Damn right. It was Steve Harvey that said it first, right? Or said it, or made it public.
I saw it on a Drake post.
You know,
So whoever coined it. But if you're going through hell, keep going. Why would you ever stop in hell?
for sure, for sure. And the last thing I want to say is don't let those cliche quotes deter you away from the meaning it has behind it. You know,
100%. That quote was for you. That's the only reason why I said it. If you're going
okay.
through hell, keep going. Why would you stop in hell?
You going to hell right now? Going through hell right now?
But it's for you. Well, I'll go through it eventually. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. No, well, I appreciate it, Jason. It's been a phenomenal conversation here tonight. Where can people find you at in terms of social media, and if they want to, converse with you even further? Because I know your at least your phone is always open, your DMs are always open.
sorry, I got like 9 people that tried to reach out to me, then like 11 unread ones. But if you want to find me, I'll get back to you ASAP. I need to be better at that. I definitely do. So if you want to find me, my social media handle is for Instagram mainly. I mainly use Instagram, underscore Jason S 34.
Well, all
So
right. And for those of you who want to find me, the Asian Persuasion, the one half of Rush Hour 10, you can find me at THAD.
hey, Rush Hour 10, baby.
You know what
We
I'm
got the
saying?
movie. We gonna get the movie cracking, man. We gotta see. That's why we need the money so we can pay for Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan to come back when they like 50 years old, and we can reenact them, and we can have them like that's your uncle, Jackie Chan's your uncle, Chris Tucker's my uncle. We can get it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Rush Hour
gosh.
10, baby.
You know
We
what?
can make it. We can go to Dubai for this one. I know they were in Paris for the last one, but I got big ideas, man. They're skiing in Dubai.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? We'll keep building. We'll keep chugging along the way to make that dream happen. It's been phenomenal conversing with you, like I mentioned before. Still grateful for you to introduce me to this new concept and away from my original path. And much love to you as we're moving forward here into the new year. So everybody that's listening, I hope you have a phenomenal night, phenomenal day, whatever time you're listening to this. And stay blessed, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you later.